Jezza Roddy is an American video game composer living in Japan. He specializes in combat-heavy compositions for games, including, but not limited to, RPGs, beat-em-ups, bullet hells, and more. He is a member of the Video Game Music Alliance, hosted by Stephen Malin, and has studied under Penka Koneva. How you doing, Jezza?
Doing well, man. What about you?
I'm doing pretty well. So we're at a 14-hour time difference. For me, the day is just getting started, and for Jezza, day's wrapping up. All right, so we're gonna jump right into your origin story. And on your website, you mentioned you grew up in a New Yorican household, and you talk about all the Latin music you grew up listening to. And I'm really intrigued because that's kind of like what I've been really getting into as of late. And of course, the whole, Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl and all that. So yeah, tell us more about your musical upbringing and, your passion for Latin music.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. I went through a lot of different stages, but specifically about Latin music, I grew up around that. Like, I was born into it. All the way until I graduated university. I was pretty much immersed in Latin music. I wasn't really raised as a Puerto Rican. I'm just American, man. That's all. Like, I don't speak Spanish. I don't dance salsa too well. Yeah. But, my parents would always have like some kind of Latin music playing, and it was mainly salsa or merengue. So,
and are your parents from Puerto Rico, or they're from New York?
They claim New York. My mom was actually born and raised in New York. My dad was born in the island on Puerto Rico, but he was raised in New York as well. So they call themselves New Yorkers. That's where they were brought up. So because of that, right, like they were playing a lot of Latin music and stuff like salsa, merengue. Even though, of course, merengue is not technically Puerto Rican, right? It's more from like the Dominican Republic, but my mom loves that music so much. So, but yeah, growing up around that, like, and hearing it almost daily, it kind of like got into my soul. Like, I just naturally got infected by it. Not the best word to use, but it was just like, yeah, exactly. It just was drilled into me. So, what happened is, I guess I'm kind of getting ahead of the interview here, but when I got into university, I started as a business major, but I wanted to continue doing music to some degree, so I tried out for the salsa band in Texas State University over there in San Marcos, Texas. The audition was, I don't want to say it was like easy. Of course, I put in work and I practiced and all that, but making the audition wasn't that difficult for me.
Came naturally.
Like, I knew how I knew how I needed to perform to make it sound like real salsa. So I was one of the few people to make it into the top salsa band as a freshman.
Yeah, it's interesting because here in Colombia, my wife listens to a ton of salsa. She's really passionate about it, and we just did a salsa dancing class about a week ago. So we're hoping to continue with that. But I think it's really, and like, I don't want to talk too much about Bad Bunny, but I think he has done a lot for, Puerto Ricans and salsa music. Like, I don't think I would have gotten so much into salsa music had it not been for his song Baile Inolvidable, as cheesy as that sounds, maybe.
Yeah. No, I do like Bad Bunny too. I am pretty happy with what he's doing.
I've done like a complete 180 on him because I used to think like, oh, this reggaeton music is awful, blah, blah, blah. But I've really had a change in perspective with this latest album he did. So, all right. So you played saxophone and guitar. Tell us a little bit about how you did that balance. And then when you went to university, you played more saxophone, but you were a business major. So did you still play guitar at all, or?
Yeah. When I was very little, my parents actually bought me an electric piano when I was like 2 or 3 years old or something. So that was like, I was basically destined to do music. And I didn't really have any formal training throughout like my whole childhood and throughout my teenage years. Not until I got to university. But just playing on that little piano, man, it really like trained my ears. I learned that the white keys work together and that the black keys don't, but sometimes they do. Or, like learning some melodies, right? Yeah. So without even realizing, I was learning like accidentals and different key signatures and stuff. So when 7th grade came around, I started playing sax because my dad used to play sax when he was in, I think, elementary and maybe junior high school. So I had kind of like an unfair advantage. I had a dad who knew how to play the instrument.
Did you inherit your dad's sax?
No, actually, no. He didn't even have his own because he was going to a poor school.
Okay.
Yeah, they had like a saxophone in the school, and he told me like he came across that saxophone accidentally one day because he was like a hall monitor or something. He told his teacher about it, and he was like, "Yeah, you can play it if you want." So that's how he got started. I say I had an unfair advantage because most students started band in 6th grade, so I was starting late. I started in 7th grade, but my dad was there to help me like lay down the foundation, to start me off with the right fundamentals. And of course, the first semester in band, it was a struggle, man, like trying to learn how to read the music and catch up to everybody. But come 2nd semester, once I got used to the flow of things, I took first chair, man.
All right, so last question for this section. Do you have any plans or desires in the future to compose Latin music?
Specifically for salsa, it would be nice, but I don't have any like specific plans for it. But I really enjoy it, man. Like salsa it's a wonderful genre. I love the sound of it. It has a special type of groove and a special type of swing that no other genre has, If I ended up being like a salsa arranger or composer or whatever in the future, I would be totally happy, man. I would love that.
Yeah, it's such a like complex music. It's a little intimidating for me. I'm doing a Berklee online course, and we were told to choose a genre to compose our final project in. And I was like, oh, I want to do a salsa song. But then I was like, I don't know, man. Lots of I'm a drummer is my background, so it's kind of hard. The harmony aspect of music for me is like pretty challenging sometimes. And then the other end of that, like the virtual instruments, is kind of hard to get authentic sounding instruments for salsa. But I'm actually releasing a tutorial on YouTube tomorrow of what I did do. I actually just did like a whole Bad Bunny tribute EP.
Oh, really? I gotta see that, man.
Yeah, so it's available on YouTube if you want to check it out. It's called The Tortoise and the Hare.
All right, nice. I'll definitely be checking that out, man. That sounds good.
Let's jump right into our next section, which is going to be game music. I like video games. I don't have time to play them anymore, unfortunately, but you see I got the Breath of the Wild art back there.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So, Zelda games hold a special place in my heart. I originally started my YouTube channel for video game music, and then I kind of saw this like Latin music thing as an opportunity because I studied Spanish like for many years and I studied music for many years. So I figured it'd be a good way to like combine my passions. And you're passionate about Japanese, so we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So yeah, what made you decide you wanted to be a game music composer?
Like I said before, started with a very small, I think it was like maybe like a 32 key or 34 key piano. You know, like in some of those movies you watch where some special force comes in and they like bestow a power upon the main character, and it's like you have no choice now, like you got to go forward with this mission, That's kind of how it was with me, regarding music. Got into saxophone. I picked up guitar about a year after I started saxophone, so I was doing both of those at the same time. Saxophone was like band music, and then guitar was like heavy metal.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, I loved, I can't really call myself a metalhead. I really only loved like the metalcore, man, like August Burns Red, Trivium, Killswitch Engage. Like I was very it was almost like a niche, not really niche. It's just like I had my few bands that I really loved, and that's all I listened to. So very I can't really call myself a metalhead.
Subgenre.
Exactly, yeah.
What about Metallica?
I do like Metallica.
Hell yeah.
I'm not crazy about them. They are definitely a great band. Like, because that's one thing I've learned, man. It's like just because something is not like your cup of tea, it doesn't mean it's not good,
Yeah.
right?
That's how I feel about Megadeth. Megadeth's not my cup of tea, but I know
Same
many
here, yeah.
people really appreciate and are big fans of Megadeth.
Fast forward to university, I was studying. I started with business. Then after I joined the salsa band, I realized like, what the hell am I doing? I should be studying music. This is my passion. So I switched to music education because everybody was telling me like, you got to be a band director, otherwise you can't make money from music, right? Because most people don't know about all the opportunities in the industry. But after a while, I was just like, this can't be my path, man. The more that I dove into that like career field of being a music educator, like specifically as a band director, the more I realized I was like, this isn't for me, man. This is not worth it. It's not worth what I'm going to get paid for. So I did a lot of like soul searching and realized I wanted to be a performer or something. And I really wanted to be a rock star at that time.
Me too.
Yeah, I think that's a common theme amongst us composers. Wanted to be a rock star, but of course you can't find any like rock star degree in most universities, so I did jazz performance to get into the like performance lifestyle. Eventually I ended up switching to a Bachelor of Arts, just a general degree. Jazz was going to take me like an extra 2 years to finish up, and I did not want that much debt from university, man. I was like, nah, I'll be better off without those loans. So from there, it's a whole bunch of other stuff happening, like joining another band. I had some good experiences. I got to tour. I got to know what the rock star lifestyle was like on a small scale. I got asked for like an autograph one time. I got asked for pictures. But after living that lifestyle for a while, I was like, man, this ain't worth it. Like lugging around all this equipment and getting paid like $5 a night sometimes. Because
Yeah.
those venue owners, man, they can be cheapskates. I got tired of it, and I remember around the time that I was part of that band that I mentioned. That's when I got into Japanese. My passion for like becoming a rock star died off, so I just focused on Japanese, like studying hours a day of just kanji. And I don't know how much you know about like Japanese, but they got like the
A
three
little
different
bit.
language systems, not language systems. Sorry, the writing systems.
Writing.
I just completely threw away music for that stuff, man. And it wasn't until I came to Japan. I came as an English teacher, and specifically as like an assistant English teacher. And after like the year and a half mark, I started realizing like, like what am I doing, man? Like this is not fulfilling. Like I'm kind of enjoying myself. Like Japan is cool, I'm making a lot of good memories, but this English teaching stuff is just not it for me. And that's when I kind of remembered music, and I slowly got back into it. Like I bought myself an electric piano, which I have here, but it's over there. You won't be able to see it right now. But I bought that first and just played every once in a while. What was happening without me realizing it was I started composing ideas on my piano. Like I wasn't putting it in the DAW or anything. I wasn't writing the music. I was just composing. And then I got to a point where I was just like, man, I really want to get back to music, but how do I get back into it? How do I make some kind of profit from it without being a starving musician? I'm just like, what the hell can I do? The other thing I thought to myself was like, what do I do whenever I'm feeling down? What's something that always cheers me up besides music? And I was like, man, I always go and play like my favorite games, like Sonic the Hedgehog and all that.
Hell yeah.
And so just kind of like what you said earlier, how you decided to put your passions together. That's what I did, man. So I was like, video games, music, I can make music for games. And so that was like, that moment was kind of like a light bulb went off. And I was like, why have I never thought about this before, So that was
Definitely.
the moment when I decided to become a music composer.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I did have like a very similar experience where I pretty much abandoned music for several years to study Spanish. And I think it's, no offense, I think it's funny that you're Puerto Rican, but you speak Japanese and you don't
Yeah.
know any Spanish, when Spanish is probably so much easier for you to learn than Japanese. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, no one in my family speaks Spanish, so I can kind of relate what your family think. Like, why are you wanting to study Japanese, right?
I mean, that's right, yeah. But the thing I did forget to mention earlier was, I guess the biggest reason why I decided to move forward with Japanese was because of my sister, because she was into Korean.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she was studying Korean, and I remember looking at her like she was serious too, man. She would get the little post-it notes and post them on items and write the Korean for it, so she could just review every day. And
Korean
I remember
is
at that
tough.
time, yeah, it's real tough, man. The pronunciation is crazy too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tried studying it for a little while. I had a good friend who's Korean, and he always tried to tell me that Korean's the easiest language to learn. And I was
No.
like, Spanish is a lot easier. I don't know if
Way
it's because I've
easier,
been
yeah.
taking Spanish classes like, half my life. At least Spanish has the same character system.
I know
Which
that's the thing, man. Yeah, pronunciation is pretty tricky with certain words, but
in
yeah, man.
Spanish,
Yeah.
Uh, I always like for me Spanish is super easy because it's written how it sounds. Whereas like someone who's a native Spanish speaker learning English and they see the word enough and they say like enug, it's like no,
Yeah.
the G you don't pronounce. It's like that doesn't really happen in Spanish. So you mentioned Sonic the Hedgehog. What are some of your favorite video game soundtracks?
Of course, Sonic.
OG?
Yeah, man. I grew up playing mostly Sonic. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of '90s kids did. The thing is with me, man. Like I didn't get too many different games because I had those very like strict parents. New Yorican parents. If we went somewhere, they're like, I'm pretty sure you've heard comedians talking about their parents where they're like, when we go in this store, you better not ask for nothing, right?
Yeah.
So that was my parents, man. So because of that, I didn't really play too many different games. But I had all of the Sonic games, and I played those things over and over again, man. I wouldn't call myself the biggest Sonic nerd, but I know those levels in and out, man. Like I know shortcuts and stuff. I know how to get through levels quickly. Of course, these days, like I haven't really been playing those games that much, so I can't like breeze through a level like under 30 seconds to get that like 50,000 point bonus or whatever. But I can still remember those levels very well, man. Like if I close my eyes and think about it, I know exactly how to clear all those levels, man. It's crazy.
More a 2D Sonic or 3D Sonic?
More of 2D, yeah, like the Genesis era.
It's nice.
Yeah, but when Sonic first became 3D, that was also like a really good era for Sonic too, man. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, awesome games, awesome soundtracks.
I haven't been that good since.
Although I have to say, man, with Frontiers, so when Frontiers first came out, I was like, it looks kind of cool, but it's, as a boomer Sonic fan, I was like, it doesn't seem that exciting, right? And I remember playing it in the beginning, and I was kind of like, it's all right, but it doesn't feel like a Sonic game. So I put it away. But what's really funny about that is like, I remember thinking about the other 3D Sonic games, because even like Sonic Generations, that one was really good too. But I felt like with Generations, they didn't make Sonic like badass enough. Once we got into the 3D era, one thing I wanted from Sonic and from Shadow too was like just like this badassness. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Like I wanted them to just be like real badass, and like I wanted their theme songs to be more hardcore because like I love Crush 40, Live and Learn, like that's an awesome theme song. But I wanted heavier stuff, right? And I didn't know that any of this was in Sonic Frontiers when I first played it, so I put it away, kind of disappointed. But later on, I went to a Sonic Symphony concert in Tokyo, and they got to the section where they played all like the metal tracks from like Frontiers and all that. And I was like, what? Like Frontiers has
geeking
this
out.
heavy metalcore music? Yeah. And I think that's when I realized like I got to play this game. I have to play it. And once I really got into it, I started to realize like this game was my this is what I've been dreaming about regarding Sonic for many years. Like the even the dodging mechanics, the ability to like accelerate quickly from the start. Because when you look at cutscenes from Sonic, he doesn't start off running slow like this and gradually speed up like in the other games. He takes off. So when I saw in Frontiers you could control that as well, I was like, man, my dream already came true And I had this game in my Switch for like 5 years, and now I'm
Okay.
finally learning about this. So
Yeah.
long story short, I freaking love Frontiers, and that's actually my favorite Sonic game now.
All right. So, who are some of your favorite video game music composers?
Yeah, so again, it's gonna be related to Sonic. Tomoya Otani, or in Japanese, Otani Tomoya. I think the track that made me really start liking him was the final battle from Sonic Unleashed.
I
Which,
didn't play that one.
yeah, I never finished it, but that's the funny thing. Like, even though I never finished the game, that's the track I love the most. That like final boss battle. Actually, that track is what kind of got me started in my own style. So I do like the orchestra and combine it with like metal drums and guitars and all that. So, and it's because of that track. When I heard that, I was like, dang, this can actually all work together. Of course, I have a bias towards my mentors like Penka Koneva. I can't say that I've listened to enough of her stuff. Like I'm still like listening to more things, but what I've heard from her is just incredible, man. There's something different in her compositions. Of course, she's written for like Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands. She wrote for one of the Transformers games. She was able to compose for like the Space Kennedy. What's it called? The John Space Kennedy Center? I don't know if you know.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's done all kinds of like really great stuff. But she's got her own passion projects as well. And I love her passion projects, man. It's just such beautiful stuff and so creative.
Yeah, I've never actually listened to her, but I'll have to check her out. I got her written down on a post-it note here.
Yeah, she's awesome. If you want to take note of one of her albums, it's called The Woman Astronaut.
You don't like any of the Zelda music, or?
Oh, of course, that stuff is wonderful, but I gotta be honest, man. I've only played I think it was the very first Zelda for Game Boy.
Oh, Link to the Past, I think? No,
I think so.
okay.
Yeah, I think so.
No,
And
Link's Awakening.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, Link's
Yep,
Awakening.
yep. Link to the Past was on the SNES.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But I love it, man. I
You
can
went
never
into
beat the game though.
did you go into the store and you like stole stuff and you came back and they like zapped you to death?
But yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best part of that game. Probably because I didn't
Yeah.
get very far.
Yeah, that's true, man. And like when you slice at the chickens enough times, you just get attacked by like a swarm of chickens. Oh man, I never made it too far in that game, but what I did play, I freaking loved, man. And what a soundtrack, bro! Like beautiful music, very like adrenaline pumping. Even I forgot the girl's name, the one that starts singing when you talk to her.
Oh, yeah, it's been so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, but even that, it's funny, like the little 8-bit sounds or whatever. But they made it so beautiful, even with those like little, like I don't know, sine wavy or whatever sounds they use at that time. I'm not too detailed with that stuff, but even with
Yeah.
that, man, like they made it sound so beautiful.
Well, it's interesting, like kind of going down that rabbit hole because back then they actually had to generate the music in real time using the hardware, whereas
Hmm.
nowadays it's all pre-recorded stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got I think two more questions in this section. So, in your opinion, what is the biggest challenge of composing game music?
Yeah, composing game music. I guess it kind of depends on where you're coming from. In game jams, it's hard because you never have anything to work with in the beginning, right? Especially if you got like 2 weeks to finish a game. So you meet with the team, you listen to all these ideas being thrown around, and especially somebody like me who's neurodivergent, who has a hard time like keeping up with fast-paced conversations. It's really hard. So it's like, did they want to make a 3D game or a 2D game? Like, I'm always so confused. But in that regard, it's hard to make music for games. Now, when you do have like a real creative brief, and one of the guys I'm working with now, he's really good about giving me like detailed creative briefs with reference tracks and with the art from the game and all that. In that situation, the hardest thing is just really trying to stay out of your own head, or like trying to stay out of the way of the game, and trying to write
Mm,
something that's gonna support the game and not something that you think just sounds cool. That is
gotcha.
the absolute hardest thing. And that's probably for anything, man, even for film too, cuz like with Penka, you know, she's also a film composer, so we talked a lot about composing for a scene, you know, like making actual cues and stuff. Man, it's the same struggle, man. Like you, when you got dialogue, you don't want some music that's gonna like, you
Be
know,
noticeable.
exactly, yeah. Everything has to be under the dialogue. The most important thing is the story, right? So that's the biggest
Same for
challenge to
video
me.
games. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, so challenge to just not, obviously when you're composing music for like a concert, you want the music to be kind of flashy, but composing for media, it's kind of the opposite.
Yeah, that's right.
And okay, so the last question I kind of tacked on to this section is kind of personally for me, but maybe someone out there will also get some help from this. How did you land your first client composing game music?
This was like around the time like when I decided I'm gonna become a composer. I was taking a course called something along the lines of the fundamentals of video game music, or video game
And
composition.
and what website was that on?
Composer Code. A guy named Matt Kenyon runs that website called Composer Code. He's been kind of low key lately though, so I feel like he's not really doing composition as much. But he still has the course there that I really really love. It's like $70 or something, and you got a whole bunch of modules and all these exercises, and
Self-paced.
yeah, exactly. I was taking that course, like doing all the assignments and writing some ideas. That course really helped me to kind of like get back into my creative state that I was in like before I gave up on music. And by the end of that course, I was kind of like, I guess I was kind of like on fire. I took like a gameplay clip from Final Fantasy VII, specifically of the battle scenes, or like the battle gameplay. And I made like my own version.
Da, 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 da,
Yes.
da, da.
Oh my
I
God.
was a
That,
late I was a late bloomer when it comes to Final Fantasy VII. I bought a PS4 during pandemic solely to play the remake.
yeah. Yeah, man. I haven't played the remakes, but I do love the original Final Fantasy VII, man. It's so awesome. And that battle track, man, that's peak right there, bro. There's very few battle tracks that are better than that one. Uematsu Nobuo did such an amazing job on that track. I decided to take some of that gameplay and like make my own battle music for it.
Rescore. Yeah,
Yeah,
rescore.
exactly, a rescore. Yeah. So I posted that on YouTube, and it's funny because at that time I was only using that free music notation software called MuseScore,
Hmm.
and my whole track was MIDI instruments, bro. Like now that I listen back to it, it's so cringe, man. But that freaking track landed me my first gig. I got a comment on my YouTube video, and the guy was like, "Hey, are you taking commissions right now?" And I was like, what do I do? Like, I did not expect anybody to even see this video, and I'm getting an offer already. So I
Nice.
emailed Matt Kenyon from Composer Code. I was like, do you think that I can take this on? Like, cause he gave me a lot of feedback on my assignments, so I had a lot of trust. I was like, do you think I'm ready for this? He was like, hell yeah, man, go for it. You're a good composer. So I said, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. And to this day, man, me and that guy are still working together. I posted a video with crappy MIDI instruments, but for some reason that guy heard something special in that and he decided to hire me.
Awesome. Hey, I thought that was a pretty good story.
I made it sound exciting. Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show you shouldn't be afraid to put your work out there because you never know.
That's right.
All right, we're going to move on to our next section, which is music production. And so we were in a Discord server together, and I remember you mentioning you work with Reaper. And I don't know a lot of people that work with Reaper. So tell us a little bit about that, why it's your preferred DAW, how you got started with it, what makes it special.
Okay, yeah. Reaper, man. Reaper is actually creating some waves. People are leaving other DAWs to move to Reaper, man. If you judge Reaper by its appearance only, you would think like, why would anybody move to this DAW? Because it has a very outdated look. It's, you know, that's the biggest complaint that Reaper has. To be honest, man, the reason why I'm using it is because the guy from Composer Code, he's also a Reaper user. And that was his suggestion. So I said, you know what, to get started on this course, I'm going to use Reaper as well. And actually, that's not true. I didn't use Reaper for the course. I used MuseScore only. But I moved to Reaper later when I decided I want to start like bringing my tracks to life. But the other reason was, honestly, man, in the past, when I would record music, I would just use GarageBand. So all I knew was GarageBand. And what happened was that when I moved to Japan, I didn't have my Mac anymore because I had like a all-in-one desktop. So I had to find a different DAW. I was like, what can I use? And I remember when I first started using Reaper, I was like, where are the instruments, man? Like, where's my guitar and everything? And then I had to learn how to, you know, use like sample libraries, and you know, I had to learn like where to save my VSTs and where to save my samples and all that. And it was so overwhelming at first, man. It took me a long time to figure it out. The reason why I stay with it is because after I've been officially composing for about 2 years now. And this whole time I have not needed any other DAW for anything, man. Like every function, whether it's making loops, whether it's mixing, whether it's recording MIDI or audio, even sound design, man, like you can do all of that through Reaper. I don't have any need for any other DAW right now.
I guess my big question for you about Reaper is, I know they kind of like pride themselves on the low price point, but how does that work with sample libraries? Because to me, it almost seems like, well, if they don't have any native instruments, then you're going to have to drop a bunch of money on the sample libraries. And then it's like, well,
yeah. No, you're right. That is the downfall of Reaper. And I think that was the one thing that I was warned about. Reaper only has like maybe 3 stock instruments. They got like a synthesizer, and I think, I don't even know what else, man. I've only used the synth. But yeah, it's true, man. You have to like go and find all of your libraries to be able to use Reaper. I'll tell you, man, I made a lot of mistakes. I made the big mistake of buying like those $20 libraries that are just big time trash. In the end, you have to end up buying like the $400 libraries or whatever anyway, because that $20 one just doesn't cut it.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do any subscription-based libraries, or?
I did with Musio before they switched up their model. So they are subscription now, but they do also have the option to like make a one-time purchase for certain libraries. But Musio came through for me big time, man, because I could not find any libraries that my computer could handle at the time. Because let me show you what I started with very quickly. Hold on. A freaking Lenovo Yoga. Yeah, Yoga 7, I think, or something, man. Which it's really good. This is a really good laptop. But 12 gigs of RAM and like the clock speed is 2.4 or something like that. So you could imagine trying to run like a good sized library on this. It just doesn't happen, man. It doesn't work. So, but Musio came through for me because you got like those, you can download all the articulations separately. And it's very like, I don't know how to explain it well, but it's just like cloud based and stuff. You know, like, do you know about Musio?
A little bit. I guess that's a benefit that people don't really talk about. I know a lot of people kind of poo-poo the subscription model, but I mean, if you don't want to download an entire library, then the subscription model is great.
I ended up buying the perpetual license for Musio because that was another option. When you get the perpetual license, the download function is still the same way. Like you can just download one articulation at a time. And so like if you're a super simple person who only uses like, I don't know, staccatissimo or staccato plus sustain, and then you just get those 2 articulations, and it's very, very like CPU friendly, man. You know what I mean? So
nice. All right, so tell us about your typical workflow. Do you use templates?
Yeah, I think every composer should be using templates.
I do more like kind of modern music, and I still haven't jumped on that train, but I'm definitely curious because I'm just learning about templates like pretty recently here. So
Okay.
pretty much every time I open up Ableton, it's just the stock settings. So I need to, yeah, but it's I don't know, because like I feel like no two of my songs have the exact same instrumentation, but I would like to eventually start doing more of the video game stuff. So I think, templates are definitely something I need to start looking into.
Yeah, I mean, maybe with electronic music, I gotta be honest, I don't know much about it, like as far as composing, but probably a different scenario. Because I would imagine, like on your sessions, do you have like 100 plus tracks open in one session?
Usually I have like closer to 50.
50 is still a good number, but it's because for me, like doing orchestral stuff plus adding in like the metal elements as well, and you know, those I definitely need templates. And something I found out recently from my mentor, Stephen Malin, he was talking about like people who have like a full orchestra template, especially when you do like when you record with a separate articulation on each track, that easily passes 100 tracks, man. You have all these tracks, right?
Sounds CPU intensive.
It really is, man. And to load a template like that, it takes a long time. But in order to save CPU, you just like turn off like I don't know in other DAWs, but like in Reaper there's the effects button. So if you just turn that off, like it's just like how it sounds, it just turns off. So you're not using any CPU in that track. So when I start a session, I have my full orchestra template, but all the effects are like turn off, and I'm only going to turn on whatever I need. And
the effects processing, the reverb, delay.
yeah, well, actually, not that effects. Like the effects of just like the like inserting the plugin. Sorry, man, my terminology is kind of bad right now, but
No, no worries.
yeah, like for example, if I wanted to open up like Contact, right? Like
Okay, the
all my tracks.
third-party plugins.
Exactly, yeah. There you go. That's the word. Yeah. So the like in Reaper, it says effects, but effects means like you have that plugin activated. So when you turn
Okay.
effects off, it's just you know it's off.
It's all within Reaper, so it doesn't have to shoot out to the third-party plugins. Gotcha.
Right, yeah. But then when you want to use the track, you gotta, of course, turn it back on.
Well, how's that
Right.
work if in Reaper most of your tracks are gonna be third-party?
When you open up the new track, you hit like insert effects, and then you select the third party plugin from the drop down list or whatever. So in Reaper, that's read as effects, but it really just means like whether you have the plugin like activated or not, or like turned on or turned off, whatever. So just to save the CPU and like save RAM and everything.
When you're working on, say, like a bassoon, you turn on the bassoon to be able to hear it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The way I compose too, man, is like a lot of people start with the piano. They'll go back to it later on and like orchestrate or arrange or whatever. But I actually like I'm pretty good with hearing stuff in my head before I even like play on the instrument. So if I know that I want a melody to be in like violas or something, what I'll do is I'll just go to whatever section of the song I want the violas to come in, turn on the viola patch, and record that to the click. Because like while I'm recording the viola, I'm hearing like what the brass is gonna do or what the winds are gonna do. If I want to double it with the horns, if the percussion is playing at that time, I know what the percussion's gonna do. So like if there's accents in the viola, I'm playing those accents with the percussion in my head. That's kind of how I get started with a piece.
Feel like, the music you're probably writing as opposed to the music I'm writing, at least at this point, I feel like orchestral music is so nuanced where there's so many instruments, but like the very slightest change in, even an instrument that might not seem very obvious makes a huge difference.
Yeah. The biggest thing you'll hear in any kind of orchestral composing course is like doubling, man. And I gotta be honest, I'm still trying to figure out all this stuff too. It can be overwhelming at times for me even now.
See, that there is a parallelism though with I guess more modern music production. Kind of one of the things I learned early on when I went from playing drum set to playing a computer, like a bass drum, for example, in like EDM music, you almost always have to layer two or more sounds to get a really good sound. And so that's kind of a similar concept, right?
Yeah, that's actually the very same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
That's the difference between somebody like me and like my mentors who are like actual masters, you know. Because like Stephen Millen, man, he doesn't call himself a master, but he is. Like if you listen to him compose, he's a freaking master. He's a big inspiration for the stuff I write now. It's a big difference, man, because they already know what to do. They already know like if oboe is gonna play this melody, if they want to double it to get a certain sound, they know exactly which instrument to go to. I'm not at that level yet. Like I know.
You're still experimenting, like, should I double it with this instrument? Should I double it with that instrument?
Exactly.
And then that gets fatiguing because you're just like, I don't know which one sounds the best. And then you kind of get
Right.
that. Yeah.
There are some doublings that I do know, like if I want like a certain sound. And for like the style that I mainly write, I know like, you know, doubling cellos with horns and maybe with violas and like trombones is going to give me like this like an aggressive mid-range sound. That's like one of the few doublings that I absolutely know is going to work to give me a certain sound. But besides that, the other doublings, it's a lot of guesswork.
Yeah.
And I'm studying, man. I'm studying so I can learn how to be quicker at figuring out what to double, you know. So
Yeah, I guess that just comes with time. I mean, you probably know that a lot better than I do because my orchestral composing is so limited. But like I said, I do want to eventually delve further into that world. Tell us a little bit about your passion for Japan. I know you said you took some time away from music like I did to study Japanese. And then I think I read on your website you won a Japanese speaking competition and you got a ticket to fly to Japan. And that's the first time you went to Japan and now you live there. So tell us a little bit more about that.
yeah, so I guess to talk about the beginning, there's this anime called Psycho Pass. Do you know about Psycho Pass by chance? I'm not going to try to explain it, man, because it's real complex. That'll take too long. But I recommend it. Highly recommend it. Psycho Pass. The voice actor for the main character is what got me interested in Japanese. It's a typical anime voice, but it's also unique compared to others. And it's like a very... That's what got me into Japanese. And like I said before, my sister studying Korean kind of like opened me up to the idea of learning a different language. And
It wasn't Spanish.
yeah, that wasn't Spanish, yeah. But what's funny though is Spanish class in university, it kind of helped me realize that studying language is fun. So it did start with Spanish first.
Okay.
But what happened was I downloaded Duolingo for review's sake. And then one day I got a notification that they also had Japanese. And right off the bat, man, as soon as I started studying Japanese, I fell in love. Started studying like crazy, got all these apps and started listening to a podcast to help with like listening. Found a community over there in Austin where I was living before. Got to make friends with people who were actually from Japan, so I got to practice real Japanese. And one of those people helped me to win that speech contest. I wrote the speech for myself in English, and she translated it. She made an audio recording of her giving the speech in Japanese. She told me, listen to this, shadow it, imitate it the best you can. That is the only reason why I won that speech contest.
Hey man, you gotta give yourself some credit. It was definitely your idea to do the contest, and I mean that sounds like a really effective way, and you won, and I'm sure you were the best one there. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have won. So
You know, I give myself credit for the Q&A section because I did not know what questions they were going to ask. Like that, and there was a lot of people competing that day. But there were different divisions. My division was only 4 people. It was the only division where they were giving away a free plane ticket. But when I watched the other people competing, the one thing I noticed over and over again was the speech was beautiful. It was like perfect. It was solid. But when it came to questions, they could not understand what they were being asked.
and you could.
Yeah, I could. One question was hard though, because there was you know how there's always the judge that gives like the lower score or whatever. So we had one of those that day, and he asked me some. When I look back on it now, it was like if I got asked that question now, it would be easy. But at that time, the conjugation that he used and stuff was real difficult for me. Yeah, but I got that ticket thanks to my friend. Came to Japan for like 3 weeks, man. I took a 3-week vacation, went into a lot of debt, and I fell in love with the country. So that's when I decided to move out here. It was a smart move, man, because I'm married to a really wonderful woman out here now. I got a great mother-in-law. Got a lot of experiences, and my mind is like really opened up now. If I could go back in time, I would do the same thing over again, honestly.
Um, yeah, I didn't even know there was Japanese speaking contests. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we'll just skip to the last questions and then I don't know if you have 5 or 10 minutes for some fun questions or.
We can do it, man.
Okay, so my last question about Japan. So you've been living there for some time now. Have you found the music you just kind of hear out on the streets, out and about, kind of creeping its way into your own music?
That's a hard question to answer because you probably know this is a quiet country. Like everywhere you go is just quiet.
Okay, really?
Yeah, so playing music in public
That
places
sounds
is
like
like,
that sounds like the opposite of Colombia.
yeah, I mean, that's I would imagine so, yeah. Any Latin country, right? Just music everywhere. But yeah, Japan is all about being quiet, man. The trains are really quiet. Restaurants are very quiet. That's why so many people love it here because it's just real peaceful everywhere you go. And it's nice, man. Sometimes I miss the talkative nature of people in like the US, but you gotta respect it, man. The fact that people are like willing to be peaceful and quiet in public is amazing. But
Sounds nice.
yeah, man. But like I said, I can't really say music from out and about has influenced me because there is no music. But I can say that Japanese composers' styles have definitely influenced me big time. It's hard for me to sit here and like list out every single composer that's influenced me. But just growing up, man, playing, like I said, Sonic. Sonic 1 and 2 was Masato Nakamura. Sonic 3, I think there were some Japanese composers, but I'm not too familiar. I just know like Michael Jackson and another guy named what was his name, like Bill Braxtor or something like that.
Beats me.
Yeah. Sonic and Knuckles with some other composers. And then of course Sonic Adventure. There's like Jun Senoue with Crush 40, just a whole bunch. And then going back to the Genesis era, like Streets of Rage 1 and 2 was Yuzo Koshiro. Who I met, by the way. I met him at an event here in Kyoto. Well, all those guys, man, just because I grew up listening to their stuff, my music has all kinds of elements from Japanese composers. I get told by a few other composers that my music is perfect for like JRPG games.
Sweet. All right. So, but I wonder if the silence, do you find maybe you appreciate more silence in your own compositions?
Oh, that's a good question, man. Consciously, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Maybe
really
I do. If somebody analyzed my music, like if I ever get like popular enough where people want to analyze my music, maybe they can answer that question for me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really fascinated because that was not the answer I was expecting.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to jump to our last question. These are my surprise questions. I didn't give these to you ahead of time, but it's
Oh
just
man,
for
okay.
fun. And I know it's getting late where you are, so we're going to be real quick, rapid fire. So, favorite anime?
Psychopaths.
Okay. Favorite Ghibli movie?
Kiki's Delivery Service because that's the only one I've seen, man. I gotta watch more.
No. Okay. Favorite DBZ character?
Ooh, probably Piccolo.
Okay. And last but not least, you're going to hate me for this. Favorite Sonic game?
Sonic Frontiers.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
You figured that out.
Yeah.
I did an interview with a big Zelda guy and I asked him his favorite Zelda game and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe you asked me that."
Yeah.
Put him on
Yeah,
the
man.
spot.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
Sonic Frontiers has become my favorite game, man.
I'll have to check that out because I like from what I've seen about Frontiers, it literally just looked like, Breath of the Wild, but with Sonic. But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, people have been saying that a lot, man. But it's honestly a very good game.
All right. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add before saying goodbye?
Nothing else, man. I mean, I guess like if whoever's watching this, like if they want to connect,
Oh
uh
yeah, you have your own website, jezzaroddy.com, right?
mhm.
and they can get in contact with you there. And then you also have a YouTube channel. I think there's a collaboration feature, so I'm going to see if I can send you a link, and then your profile will pop up on this video as well.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
All right, man. Well, good night, and thank you so much. I wish I knew some Japanese. All I know is good morning, which is like the opposite of what I like to tell you, because yeah, it's nighttime.
Yeah, nighttime. You
But
could just say oyasumi.
oyasumi,
Yeah.
sayonara.
Sayonara.